So as most of you know, back in 1988, I did this really long-term wave prediction in Cycles magazine, talking about what the Dow was going to do at the time, because that was the biggest index at the time, what it was going to do into the year 2060. This is a picture of that front page of the article and the last page of the article. I added this green dot today to show where the market was when I made that prediction. And then the next page is going to show you where the green dot is now in real time. So this is where it is now. This is where it was. This is the crash of 87 right there. This was my prediction for the next 5 or 6 or 7 years through about 1995 before the bull market resumed. And this actually peaked to around 10,000 or higher instead of 8 or so thousand, which is where this was. These are some kind of strange log scale. I can't remember the name of it. I think natural logs. So this is really around 8,000, but it went above that. And then we've been correcting ever since in this weird upward drifting kind of pattern. But this is where the market is, slightly above 40,000. And so far so good. And we're going to be zooming in more and more on this period and what's going on. So a lot of people wondered back in the year 2000 how I was able to predict that the stock market was going to go through a 20 to 30 year correction before we finished wave 4 and started the next rally. Well, that's based on the time of the previous impulsive wave, which is wave 3 going into the high in the year 2000. So I'll show you a chart in a second that shows you how I did that, and that we're currently laying the foundation for that entire pattern that started at the year 2000 to be finished sometime in the next 2 to 4 years. So let's take a look at the 2.5 yearly chart, and you can see how I made that long-term forecast. So this is the low in 1982. This is the peak in 2000. That's the impulsive advance. Corrections, according to NEoWave, always need to take the same time or more of impulsive patterns. And so I just took the time of this third wave, which was almost 20 years, added it to the end of wave 3, and it projected out to around 2018 or so. That was the minimum time for wave 4. I just rounded it up to 20 years because corrections usually almost always take more time, not the same time. So I rounded up to 20 years, and knowing that corrections can easily take up to twice as long, sometimes 150%, I picked 20 to 30 years as the ideal time horizon for the fourth wave to finish. So the fourth wave started at the high in 2000, and we're working on finishing it over here. Now on a 2.5 year basis, data points here is 2.5 years. So from this perspective, we could get, whenever the next 2.5 years begins, we could get 2 data points that are moving up very slowly like this. The E wave technically might still be here, which could still be the end of wave 4, but the pattern upside movement won't begin for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, depending on how it wants to behave. There's even a chance this pattern could become a triangle itself at the end of this bigger triangle. But the original projection of time was simply taking the time of wave 3 and doubling it or adding it to this point and saying that that's the minimum time for wave 4 to finish, and it could go another 50% beyond that.